Seven restaurant brands out of 10 are scaling AI to optimize forecasting, personalization, and operational efficiency as tech investments accelerate. To share her frontline insights and strategies, Emma Pitfield of KPMG Consulting joins us. So, Emma, AI is already inside how decisions get made in QSR. What does that actually look like on the ground for the operators you're working with?
Yeah, what I'm seeing on the ground is that QSR is very much uniquely positioned to benefit from AI. It's already a highly process-driven industry. Many AI-enabled technology platforms are already supporting everything from labour and inventory through to safety and operations. When I reflect, starting in the restaurants several decades ago, things like forecasting, labour planning, inventory management, and promotions were often, separate decisions that relied heavily on experience, historical trends, and local knowledge. And I think today we're really seeing the opportunity to connect those decisions and bring together, many signals such as weather, events, customer behaviour, inventory availability, and many more external signals, as well as promotional performance. So I think, the real opportunity isn't just a better forecast in isolation. It's really benefiting from bringing those insights to influence, the staffing, the inventory, promotions, and customer engagement in a much more connected way. And if we think about the scale of most QSR networks, even those small improvements can reduce waste, improve margins, support better decisions, and create more consistent customer experience across, many hundreds or thousands of restaurants potentially. So, we're definitely seeing that QSR and broader retail are embracing AI to really drive that simplification piece in terms of running a restaurant. I think, interestingly, if I think about workforce management, that's a key area, particularly in Australia, when we've got, very complicated labour laws, and shifts and, obviously 24/7 operations. AI really has the potential to reduce that administrative burden, improve compliance and create a better experience for employees and managers. So we're definitely seeing the benefits in place today and, many of the QSR brands looking to embrace more AI.
Now, speaking of complications, for you, where are the biggest gaps between what QSR leaders think AI is doing for their business and what it is actually doing?
Yeah, I think, many people still focus on those most visible, applications of AI, particularly ordering, chatbots, drive-through ordering experiences and the like, because they're very easy to see. But what I'm observing, however, is that, a lot of the biggest gains are occurring behind the scenes, whether it be in forecasting, labour scheduling, inventory management, quality control, compliance and operational execution, which are really then enablers to the front end. So I think it's, how do we balance that need for consistency that really drives, QSR operations, but also just making sure we're addressing the customer expectations, and, having the opportunity to deliver those more personalised and relevant experiences without adding that operational complexity into the restaurants.
How about in terms, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just, I think if I really reflect upon the opportunity, that the greatest value offered isn't necessarily the AI, but it's back to that ability to connect decisions across the business and really enable that operational excellence to drive those better customer experiences as well, with balancing, margins and broader execution.
Okay, so what I was supposed to ask earlier was that on the adoption side, what are the biggest challenges that operators are facing with AI adoption right now, and have they also changed?
Yeah, they certainly have. I mean, if I reflect, only a couple of years ago, organisations were asking, is AI a thing? Is it just the next hype? But I think we're very much past that now. It's not necessarily whether they need it, but where they need it and where those opportunities are. I think there's an abundance of AI opportunities now, and I think many brands are grappling with, where do I start, where do I focus? So it's really, how do you drive that momentum to get started and where and how? And I think that we're seeing the release of AI capabilities just really accelerating, particularly in the last sort of 3 to 6 months. And I think one factor that is coming more true for many organisations and beyond QSR is just really there's so many great AI tools and enablers, but they need to consider the financial considerations around that. Tokenomics in terms of leveraging some of the AI models. The cost of those needs to be considered as well. So that is influencing on brands' decisions as well. And I think the other thing to consider as well is using AI responsibly, protecting brands' assets and data, particularly when you've got customer-related data, sensitive sales and commercial data and the like. So it's really important that brands consider that aspect as well.
This is a really interesting topic, Emma. So before we end today's interview, if you were to give our viewers a recommendation, let's say heading into the rest of 2026, where should QSR leaders be focusing first?
Yeah, I mean, if I think of what are the key steps, number one is really get started if you aren't already started. Secondly is really focus on some practical use cases that can improve the decision making, whether it be in your forecasting, inventory, labour, compliance, or customer engagement, and really thinking about where that opportunity stands. Number three, ensure that you do have the right governance and responsible AI frameworks in place, particularly given your data and compliance obligations, and to your customers as well. And then lastly, really just look at how you can bring those opportunities for AI to drive that better connected decision making as well. So I think the good thing for many brands is there's many off-the-shelf AI capabilities that they can adopt without necessarily having to build. So, certainly from a getting started point of view, that might be the easiest way to start really taking advantage of the capabilities of AI.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and for joining us today, Emma.
Thank you very much.
Once again, that was Emma Pitfield, partner at KPMG Consulting. For more news, visit qsrmedia.com.